And our team has worked over the last 24 hours together to come up with a creative, innovative, and profitable business solution for this issue that we call brain drain here in East Central Indiana. Now, you may be asking, what is brain drain? Obviously, you've heard quite a bit of presentations, so you have a little bit of understanding so far. Let me give you a little more background in some of the other things that we found. One of the things, there's three things that hits the brain drain category that our college graduates are not wanting to stay here in the rural Indiana area. They want to seem to move off into like the bigger cities, kind of the Indianapolis or the Fort Wayne area, or maybe they want to go out of state as well. So what are the reasons for that? First of all, it's the jobs. They know that they can get good, creative, innovative jobs where they can use their skills and maximize their potential to make the most money. And they know that those jobs that they get with the employers, they know that they are able to go and get a promotion and have the best jobs in the bigger cities. So that's one reason that we have this brain drain issue. The second reason we have this brain drain issue is because we have kind of a culture thing going on with the big city. There's an aura about the big city. There's a vibe. You got the nightlife, you got the entertainment. As college kids, we like that. We're drawn to that. Here in rural Indiana, we don't have a whole lot of that going on. And we want to create a profitable business solution in which we can get that in East Central Indiana so that we have a place to go to really develop our community here. And then the last thing, we just read an article as a team last night, and it was actually produced last Monday of this week. And basically what it said was that the top 8 states that were dealing with this brain drain issue, the top 8 that had the most brain drain, the thing that was consistent across the board with those 8 states was the fact that they had a terrible education system. K through 12 was just not doing very well. Well, what we're trying to address here as college graduates, not only are we trying to go out and get jobs, but we're also trying to start a family. We don't want to go necessarily to a lot of places where the education system is struggling. We want to go to a place where we know our kids are going to get a good education. We want to go to a place where the cultural and the vibe is just great and our community is developing and thriving. We want to go to a place where we can draw in jobs. We've created a business model that we can alleviate the educational deficiencies, we can alleviate some of the cultural deficiencies, and we can alleviate some of this, everyone's going to Indianapolis to get jobs. So we have called this Innovate Indiana.
Thanks, Brian. So what exactly is Innovate Indiana? Well, it's a multi-purpose business function. It's going to serve 2 key aspects. The first is research and development, and the second is we're going to have a museum aspect of this. Basically, we're encompassing all types of education. The research and development will be based on recent college graduates coming to our facility to work. The museum will be focused on the K through 12 part. We're going to have the core competencies of all the East Central Indiana universities, as well as the whole state, on show at this facility. So if you're in high school and you're trying to figure out where do I want to go to college, you can come to our facility and you might meet recruiters from Ball State who are going to tell you about what Ball State has to offer through an interactive means. And we decided that we want to have this location just off I-69 on State Road 18 in Grant County. And why did we choose Grant County? Well, it's in the middle of both Fort Wayne and Indianapolis. So we have a larger market of people that would be able to come visit our facility. And then you have the whole region as well. You've got Columbus, Cincinnati, Louisville, Chicago. So we have a really big region to do this. The second reason why we want to choose Grant County is because it's the epicenter of all of these East Central colleges. So everyone can come together at this one facility and bring their ideas together. So how does this model work then? Well, the idea, the main goal is to bring college graduates and businesses together while educating the general public. So our plan on this is that we're going to get college graduates from our universities or anywhere in Indiana to come to our facility and research. So businesses will be attracted by that, knowing that these students are out here researching. They might come form a partnership, and so basically companies that are looking to outsource research and development will use students in our facility. And that's great for us because many of our institutions don't have research. And so this gives a lot of us an opportunity out of school to come and start researching and meeting with these companies. And so we don't want to start big. We're going to start small, and technology is one of the biggest ways to do that. It doesn't require a huge amount of capital. So what we're going to do is an example company would be Exact Target out of Indianapolis. It's a media marketing firm, and they want to outsource their research and development. And there's two big reasons why businesses want to outsource research and development. The first one is that it's a risk to the business. You're risking your capital when we have the resources in our facility that you need to do that. Another reason is that it's expensive. And as we're recent college graduates, we're probably willing to work for less money than people would in Indianapolis or the bigger markets. And so through that, we'll be utilizing our local college graduate talent pool. And so these college graduates who are working at our facility can then bring in other students from our universities as interns. And so these interns are going to build relationships with these graduates, with these businesses. Everyone's kind of working together here in East Central Indiana. It's not going on in Indianapolis. It's not going on in Fort Wayne. And so this is the model that we've really decided works best for our region. And so here's Heather to tell you about our beautiful facility.
Thank you, Matt. This is our external architecture. So when people drive down I-69, they're going to see this and they're going to know that it's Innovate Indiana. We're going to work with all the local universities, and we just want to synergize as a community and work together to help these kids and to help the college graduates. So we want to use Anderson University's business programs and music programs and produce engineering and aviation and Taylor's environmental science. So we want to put all these together. Let me take you on a tour of our facility. So just imagine with me that you're taking your kids into this museum. And as soon as you walk in the door, they're just so excited because they see all these plants in this big, this marine biology center with all these renewable energy sources. And this is different from any museum that you've ever seen before, because it's not just this place where you go and learn about science and look at the pretty things, but these kids get to go in and they get to plant the plants. They get to play with the horseshoe crabs and make arches and actually be the scientists and learn how to do these things. As you go to the second floor, there's a creative environment where kids not only learn about the history of music and learn about the paintings on the wall, but they get to create their own art. They get to make their own music and learn how to do that. Finally, when you go up to the third floor, there's this technological utopia where these kids just walk in and they're so excited because they see all these cameras and computers, and they can make their own video games and then play them afterwards, and they can make their own little films and learn these skills that some college students don't even know. And while all this is going on, we've got college graduates working in our research facility, doing outsourced jobs for local businesses, working with the community, and getting jobs. So all these people are working together and creating a community. So we're not only helping the kids, we're helping our community, we're helping the college graduates get jobs, and we're helping businesses. So I'm gonna let Mark talk about the financial part of this for a little bit.
Thank you, Heather. The real beauty of our multifunctional business model is that while you bring in these college grads and undergraduate interns that are doing these research and development for these Indiana companies, and so that's bringing in one revenue stream, and then while that's going on, at the same time, you have recurring revenues from all of your ticket sales, all of your gift shop sales, all of your deli sales, and the more that people come in, that recurring revenue just keeps building up and building up. And from the ticket sales and gift shops and deli alone, from our projections, we found that you could almost it's right around $3.6 million a year just in those alone, not even based on our projections, we found that we would require around $20 million of initial startup capital for building expenses and overheads.
Thanks, Mark. To finish, I'm going to present the economic standpoint that we can see some of the positive externalities that this entity could bring to the community around us. We're all college students, potentially graduates, I guess, and we're all very fond of facilities like Starbucks. We go there because we like the coffee. We go there because it's somewhere to hang out. We go there because it's somewhere where there is community. This is something that we need, and we believe that this entity will bring positive externalities to the rest of the surrounding region. And it could be places such as Starbucks, but it could be also restaurants. It could be a mall. It could be hotels. These sort of repercussions could have tremendous effects on the rest of the surrounding community. We believe that this will be a leadway for our company to have a third partnership, possibly with the local municipalities, such as Marion or Muncie or even the surrounding area. And we believe that perhaps these local government entities could provide startup programs that will incite the young junior high or high school people to go to our facility and learn more. The general idea behind this is really that we don't only strive to create a business where we are creating jobs, where we are trying to retain our college graduates, but that we are trying to create a community that will attract these college graduates to remain in the region. We are trying to create a dual purpose in this. So in a nutshell, we are really trying to create jobs. This is our main focus. We want these college graduates to be able to have a position that they will enjoy, something that they will find an opportunity to do, to create a difference. But while they're doing this, we want them to have the feeling that they can build their family in this area, that they can build upon their Judeo-Christian values, that they can raise their children in an atmosphere where they feel secure, where they can educate their children. So in a nutshell, Innovate Indiana is really keeping innovation in Indiana.
Good job.
Thank you.
You did a great job. Any questions?
Open questions.
Okay.
All right.
I'm curious about your 20 million in startup costs. Where does that 20 million come from?
A lot of that comes from the state-of-the-art equipment that we want to provide. Obviously, Heather spoke of the aquatic center. We want to have a large aquarium and just the facilities and providing things like the studio sound equipment and having kids be able to go into a real studio to produce music, and that kind of equipment really costs a lot of money, as well as the research facilities that we want to create. So a lot of it goes into the building and the equipment that it's going to be there.
In comparison, we looked at the Creation Museum, which is down in Kentucky, close to Cincinnati, and their startup cost was around $27 million. We're looking at possibly about the same size, maybe a little bit smaller than them at the beginning. And they have many interactive type of deals, similar to what we would provide, but they were really very mechanical with all their dinosaurs and all the different creation stuff that they bring into their museum. And so what we're looking at is something very similar to what they've already set up.
But do you know what their funding source was, or do you know what your funding source would be for your 20 million?
What are your questions?
Yeah. So basically, venture capitalists, people that are very into educating our kids, who really feel a conviction about education, bringing our college graduates back, and knowing that if we can bring our college graduates back to this area, we can be one of the most innovative areas around the country. Not only that, but we have revenue streams possibly from our universities, and hopefully with the alumni funds, and we'd be able to contact alumni that would be connected to these universities already. And we're hoping that they would be able to supply us and fund us with a little bit of revenue to help us get that initial startup, along with some loans that most normal businesses take out at the beginning as well.
And also to add on to that, we believe that philanthropists would be a huge source of revenue as well. And yet, to have the knowledge, the background that research development is an important, crucial criteria for any kind of business, just because that is what creates innovation, that is what starts a new business, that is what makes the country that we live in
conservative estimate of if we were to sell 250,000 tickets at an average of $12.50 a ticket, ranging from adult to child, that we would come up with just over 3.1 million. And then we also did a similar comparison on the bottom up from if 20% of the customers were to purchase something at the gift shop or the deli for an average of $10 or so, it would come out to roughly $500,000. So that was where the 3.6 million came from.
Much of the pricing scheme that they have for their tickets down at the Creation Museum, we kind of use in the same scheme that we have set up here. And so most of everything that we wanted to create with Innovate Indiana is very much based on this Creation Museum down in Kentucky.
Are they also for-profit?
Yes, right. One of the things we did lead off on that we did a difference was in ticket prices is that we realized that Grant County is not the most wealthiest place in Indiana. And so off of that, we decided that we would have two separate price ranges for people that are from the Grant County community and people who are from outside. And so we made a conservative estimate in that regards as well, by estimating that 75% of our customers would be coming from the Grant County with the lower rates. And we decided that approximately 25% of those potential customers would be coming from more the Indy, Fort Wayne region. So those were kind of our ideas. Obviously, these are all just all thoughts.
Some incentive program for the people in the community too.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, because our focus obviously during the Muslim presentation is the center of community that we wanted to focus on the East Center and part of Indiana.
With regard to actually the R&D piece, I guess I'm curious on that. I had this sense that you guys were thinking just technology, but I wasn't sure about that.
Yeah, that would be the start. Eventually, I would want technology. Ball State's kind of big in that, so we thought, if it's close to that, that'd be a good start. But eventually, we'd like to expand to where every university can kind of send delegates, that their programs have that they can start researching. So we use technology because it was a cheaper start than, say, engineering, because engineering equipment and research would cost a lot more than technology. But that would be in our future plan.
That and there is a current talent pool down in the Indianapolis area with the technology market growing there that you could almost draw back.
We've got a lot of small enterprises that are starting up that we did a little bit of research and found that's where we found what was the name? Was it
Exact Target.
Exact Target, as well as I can't remember what it was. I think
Thanks.
we had a few names, but we gotta say we're limited in time a little bit.
And how many employees do you, or interns/employees do you see in that R&D area?
Yeah, we were planning on all the interns, of course, being from the college students currently, and the people we hire being graduates. I think for the interns, just as many as the universities would pour into us, and for the hired people, I think we were thinking around 20.
Yeah, 20 to 25 to start out, and as departments grow, you can add more people, but conservatively, that's our starting point.
Why do you think K-8 education is important for retaining college students? And what other factors do you think are important?
Well, as I mentioned at the very beginning, as college students, not only are we looking to get jobs right after school, many of us are looking to start families, and so looking at the educational part of it is a big deal because soon we're going to be having to deal with these issues of sending our kids off to school. And so we realize the need to figure out a way in which we can get a quality experience, not just an education for our kids, but an experience in which it's more than just the education. It's the hands-on type of feel. Not only that, but just looking at the Grant County and surrounding East Central counties here in Indiana, we see a diverse need for just so many students who are struggling in school right now. And I don't want to shed a negative light on the school system that we have here, but I think with a supplemental type of business where they can go after school or maybe during a field trip or on Saturday, they can go to this place where they're getting more than just the blackboard and the chalk and the equations and all that stuff. They're getting the hands-on experience, and they're getting to see what we as college students are taking part of when we go to college. And it's also it's a great recruiting tool for the colleges, because they see all these students coming in, all these students see that, hey, look, Purdue has this great engineering and architecture and aviation program, and hey, I want to go to Purdue and learn how to fly planes or become an engineer when I grow up. And so it's great mutual feeling for that.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it also has to do with the motivation of the kids themselves. Having this facility, they're going to come and they will be motivated to do that. And as you grow up, you want to leave the area where other people aren't motivated to be educated like you are. And you want to go to where people feel the same way that you do. And so if we can bring that back to the community. And there's a lot of great schools all over the place. We're not necessarily saying that one's better than the other or anything like that. It's just, as a whole, there are certain states that are doing a lot better than others.
From an R&D perspective, have you thought about who would own the patents? Would that be your company? Would that be the companies that you're doing consulting for?
Believe the consulting.
Yeah,
It would companies that would be doing consulting for. They would just be outsourcing it.
That we would be doing the research and development for them, and they would pay us based on what they get cut from the process. And that's how then